Ho, Managing Director at Highlink Digital Studios. You may be the person I am most excited to chat with all day. You have such vast knowledge. First of all, congratulations on winning a Shorty Award. How do you feel?
I feel great. Thank you to all the judges. Thank you for the Shorty team for organizing this and putting it all together. This is a record haul for us this year in regards to the number of awards. And, since we've started applying for Shorties 3 years ago, so we remain committed to the awards and the award show. We know that it recognizes great work.
How does it feel to be crowned as one of the best in social digital media?
It feels great. I mean, at the least, when we say that we're one of the largest digital agencies in the world, that's good to know that we know digital. It's kind of nice that we know the internet. That's generally a good feeling.
It's to say you figured out the internet is a feat, right?
It's difficult, especially nowadays. It's really hard to get onto a GoToMeeting or a Zoom or a Google Meet. I definitely feel about 20 years older and definitely less digital. So hopefully that sort of makes up for all of our campaigns. I'm definitely not winning a Shorty Award for best use of GoToMeeting.
Yeah. Why do you think the Shorty Awards are important to a brand or an agency?
Yeah, so I think for our clients, I think it's really great for them for two reasons. Number one, it lets them break out of sometimes their industry awards. Every industry's got an award, but really use of platform is there aren't many awards out there if you think about it. So it lets them sort of break out of their industry, not winning the same industry awards, actually being recognized for innovation, which is
Yeah.
important. And I think secondly, for some of our clients, it's also so more important because they're also adjusting to the age of influencers, the age of social, the age of digital. And this sort of validates the work that they've been doing all along. And a few awards actually go out and above to recognize just sort of the continual evolution of digital. And I think the Shorty Awards really plays into that because there's new award categories every year. And the existing award categories get more and more competitive. So it's really good to recognize sort of that field that it was growing 5 years ago, but it is it now.
So you won a few awards, but I'm curious as to how you thought of your viewers in the outset of the campaign.
Do you mean how we thought about our consumers?
Yes.
Yes. So we have won awards this year across different segments. A couple of our awards are, of course, in the use of Chinese social media, so Weibo and WeChat. It comes at a very, very particular time. There have been political sensitivities this year between our clients, which are primarily based in the United States, and those in China. Yet, I think them winning the award in the best use of Weibo and WeChat have really accentuated that it doesn't matter what the political conditions are. And I like to equate it as it's two married couples for 40 years getting into a small argument. It's bound to happen. The kids don't really care what mom and dad think. So that I think was great and very rewarding. It shows the consumer and the user is still very much into engaging with brands that understand and know them. And of course, we won other awards this year for use of media buy. And I think with fewer and fewer large media buy campaigns that really run out there every day, the ability for us to target our same group of users, pull them away from the 20 different apps that they use every day, and actually make them do something with us is more so rewarding.
So I learned that Highlink was China's largest agency. And I'm curious as to the trends you saw pre-COVID from Chinese advertisers in the United States versus now.
Well, admittedly, we are not only just a large digital agency in China, we are one of the largest digital agency groups around the world. So we're actually seeing some interesting trends take shape. For sure, travel tourism is something that has been very heavily hit. So some of our clients are in travel tourism, and it's been unfortunate. However, during this time, where there are no physical planes traveling and there's a very high sense of fear amongst people actually getting on a big metal tube for 12 hours, we're actually seeing higher than ever engagement rates because people still want to be inspired. The dream, the aspiration to travel has never been stronger. In fact, when you're cooped up at home, even going outside's a luxury, then that 12-hour, 14-hour trip is ever more so awesome. And they spend a lot of time planning their trip. So we're actually observing pent-up needs to travel. People are not canceling trips into the third week of May, and today is the first week of May. And so it's amazing. And the only way to engage people is on social and on digital. And so brands are investing relatively heavily from a performance oriented approach into a branded approach. And so we're seeing that. Another approach with digital that we're really seeing is, of course, a focus into e-commerce and influencer-based social marketing. Because even though right at this moment, or actually right at this moment in the US, it's not appropriate for us to really have heavy influencer marketing things in China. That's come back. People are shopping normally. And in fact, because they're not going out Saturdays and Sundays, we're seeing really low traffic patterns of actual vehicle usage. Well,
Yeah.
how are people getting their information and their newest products? They're through influencers and social commerce. And we're seeing a huge trend in that. And a lot of American brands that sell direct to consumer, that sell cross border, they're one of their very few lifelines right now, because we're not shopping as much, is actually shipping all the product to Asia in general.
Wow. Thank you. That was interesting. So, what do you think the priority is going to be for advertisers now moving forward?
Mm. I think those advertisers that have not really looked at a digital mix above 50 to 60% will probably transition to a majority based digital. That's number one. Advertisers are going to also want bundled services. They're going to want a firm now more than ever that can do PR, that can do social and influencer, that can do creative and branding, so proper creative directors, and can actually do media buying in either traditional or digital, all together under one house. We're going to see a massive amount of integration requests from advertisers, and as a result, ad agencies like us are going to have the unbridled opportunity to basically put everything back together again. I argue that the advertising industry over the last 20 years has been very much Humpty Dumpty. It's been social media here and influencers here and a creative agency here, and they buy some media here, and they're all not very connected.
Hmm.
We're going to start seeing advertisers request all of those services converge. Given now, to be honest, budgets will recover slowly.
So, do you think that it's really about efficiency? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh yeah, it's about efficiency, but it's also about understanding my brand and reacting quickly. Think about it. I don't think that I'm going to be the kind of person that Saturday and Sunday I'm going to be out as much as I was before. We're probably going to see depressed traffic patterns, travel patterns until the end of the year. In
Hmm.
that case, but you're still shopping. You still got work. You're probably back to work at that point. So therefore, you still need to shop. How do I get to you as a brand? Well, you're not looking at the billboard outside, but you're definitely stuck at home watching a lot more video, scrolling through a lot more Instagram. You're definitely going to be on TikTok nowadays. You might participate in a challenge or two because a TikTok dance is theoretically burning calories. So I think that's going to be the way that we're going to be able to reach advertisers. And so, yes, efficiency, but also speed. So advertisers are going to demand likely, promotions that we typically see in retail. Yeah, they have to be on digital, but just like in retail where we only get a week's notice, that's going to have to go on digital. And so a lot more agencies are going to have to readjust their patterns in order to respond to those needs. And you need to be one house.
What are the consumer patterns in America versus in China? Do you find them to be similar, different?
So the Chinese consumer is very much more e-commerce driven. So we like to say this in 2003, it made Jack Ma because e-commerce basically made Alibaba during the SARS crisis. And so we're now only seeing 17 years later, Amazon, you can't get anything on Amazon, you can't get anything on Walmart.com, you can't get anything on e-commerce because the shipping system is stressed. And so that is the most classic behavior that I think is different between Americans and Chinese consumers, whereas you can get your review, you don't have to touch the product. There's great 7-day returns. Shipping is pretty much free. It's intraday. Those are given. Instant gratification of e-commerce has been made possible in China. We're probably going to see that. We have been seeing that with 1-day deliveries, with even 6-hour deliveries anyway, as it is. But we're going to see that evolve. That's really only the primary difference. Otherwise, consuming an influencer, trusting someone who you feel like represents you, aspiring to a certain brand, the consumption of media, it's actually relatively similar.
That's interesting, even though it's different platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, totally different platforms. I guess the only difference between social platforms in China, which we're seeing now happen in the US with YouTube starting really first, is besides going beyond affiliate marketing, social media platforms convert directly to sales in China. And that's what a marketer should in the US expect from their media platforms beyond just what currently is available today, like Facebook or like Google advertising or Amazon advertising.
So you're able to see that it converts, like you can see the ROI clearly. Whereas, because people talk about influencer marketing, they're never sure what the ROI is.
Yeah, that's the only that for me that feels alien. It feels random. I can call an influencer. It can be the difference between $500 and $5,000. It's like it's worse than the price of lobster. And you know you shouldn't have worse than lobster and server, and you know he's taking. So we have something known as Highland Quantum. We have a division inside our firm that actually is able to track CPE and CPA of influencers in the West based on previous transactions and previous deals. But in China, that's basically long done. It's a machine learning based platform. It understands all the transactions. It understands their conversions to cart, their abandonment rates, and also their actual sales derived. And
Wow.
so it's going to be here in the next couple of months. However, we think that that's going to start moving to the US because influencers, they're being demonetized. You know, it sucks being an influencer these days. You're basically at the behest of the big platforms. And so the only way for you to find true mega celebrity success is if you deliver the goods.
Well said. Humphrey, thank you so much for your time and your insight. It was really interesting.
Thank you.
Congrats on winning a shorty.
Yes, I have the virtual shorty right here.
Ooh, we love to see that.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Thank you. I hope you and your loved ones stay safe.